just going to do the English and then this Fatima. Okay?
You want to read the Fatima?
No. We're gonna do
Okay.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, please. That's
We're just
no worry.
getting
Pressure.
We're going to get him up.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that before, yeah. I have, but I haven't used it a lot. I know the person who signed up, but I haven't been in a meeting with it. That's smart. I have a friend though that's like a techie guy that he couldn't probably answer any of the questions you have about it. Yeah. So your questions are really about like how it works and how easy it is to set up and versatile or what?
I went online and I got all that.
Okay. When is it? Oh, okay. Oh, the large convention, the large delegation. Okay.
Everything else we do on Zoom.
Okay. That's great. I can totally do that. Wait, you want to snap? I'm gonna get our first picture of Neely on the beam. You want to get in there with us, Rabbi? Ready? As a singer, as a soloist. Yes.
This is a little tall for her.
Yes. She's gonna stand up on the chair. That's actually a really cute picture. Thank you. Excited? Yeah.
Do you have any exciting news?
Sure. Oh, I could use a little boring. I like to have it very tight and organized, right?
It's also going to be on the screens.
Right. I know. I think the two of us were already jumped It's like a little bit but I just feel like I need to
Mark, we have Mark first.
hear executive sessions and what I thought, and obviously not the last goals, but not what this whole thing is kind of.
This is exactly when we say bench drop.
Yes.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome back to Temple Beth Shalom. I know the sanctuary is... Cantor, do you hear me? Cantor? Oh, good. Hello. Anyways, we're so excited. We know the sanctuary is getting filled for our Generation Shabbat. Many thanks to Debbie Herschel for all of her leadership in creating this successful program. We're so excited that you're here with us in the sanctuary and those watching online. And as always, we encourage you to go to our website to see the many programs that are beginning and continuing. Go to tbsmb.org for all the different things, including the Richard Sharpstein Zichrono Livracha breakfast and food drive discussion this week. You see all the things going on there. But I know the clergy is ready to go. I know the sanctuary is nice and full tonight. So on behalf of everyone at Temple Beth Shalom, enjoy our service and Shabbat Shalom.
I have an extra one printed out.
Page 24 in your Siddur, or on the screens, hands-free. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom. It is so good to see so many of you here, and for those of you who are live streaming from home, we welcome you into this special Shabbat service as well. Thank you for being a part of our generation service in honor of our 80th anniversary of Temple Beth Shalom. It's very exciting. And the transmission of tradition, midor ledor, from generation to generation, is so much a part of who we are as Jews, passing on our traditions, our stories. We read about Abraham and Sarah in the Torah, who passed on to Isaac and Rebekah, who passed to Jacob, Leah, Rachel, and their children, and so on and so forth, until us here today, midor ledor, from generation to generation. And we too have upheld this chain of tradition at Temple Beth Shalom. And we've also created beloved traditions that are uniquely our own and that have been passed from generation to generation. Tonight, we celebrate those generations of men and women, of rabbis and cantors and educators and lay leaders who have been with us all along, who have helped us to sustain and maintain, who lovingly built our synagogue and nourished it in good times and in difficult times, so that we too would inherit their legacy and be here today. Amen to that. And so, as one of our beloved customs, it is the custom for our bar mitzvah and his family to kindle the Sabbath lights. And so I invite Teddy to come up with his family, and we turn to page 2 in our prayer books for the kindling of the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all we behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
We turn the page for the introduction to the Kiddush.
Vehi Erev, Vehi Voker, Yom HaShishi. And then there was evening, and there was morning, the 6th day. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the 7th day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the 7th day from all that work that God had done. And God blessed the 7th day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon chinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh zecher litiat mitzrayim kivanu bacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim, and Mazel Tov to Teddy and to his family. Wonderful day tomorrow when he becomes Bar Mitzvah. Mazel Tov. Why don't we all turn in our prayer book to page 6, and let's read together this beautiful reading on the top of the page. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. We continue with the beautiful words of Lecha Dodi found on pages 20 and 21, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And as is our custom on the last verse, verse 9, we'll all rise and face the door to metaphorically welcome Shabbat on the last verse. Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekab. Let's try that again. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad Ishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shem L'tiferet v'litchila Lecha Dodi Likrat kala Penei Shabbat Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela hitoreri kiva oreh kumi ori uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alai nigla lecha Dodi likrat kala שמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני המסגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי יפרת קלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי יפרת קלה
We remain standing and turn to page 28 for the call to worship, Baruch Hu.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Page 32. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך, בביתך, ובלכתך, בדרך, ובשוכבך, ובקומך. וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטורפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Mazel tov, Teddy. Yasher koach. That was beautiful. I know you'll do great tomorrow, and mazel tov to your whole family. Biblical scholar Mark Brettler wrote in My People's Prayer Book that in the prayer Michamocha, grammatical tenses are used in a particularly significant way. The beginning of the prayer comes from the verse from Exodus, as God is freeing the Israelites from slavery, recalling our redemption in the past. Yet at the end of the prayer, the tense is changed to future tense throughout all generations, past, present, and future. We pray for a world redeemed. Mi Chamocha, page 40.
It's okay, you can do it. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Try it. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha, va'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha, nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha, va'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha, nedar b'kodesh. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. You are my strength and you are my song. You have become my liberation. You are my strength and you are my song. You have become my liberation. Ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la
We continue with our prayer for Shabbat, V'shamru, on page 44.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם
Bibles and turn to page 46 for our central prayers, the Amidah.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rab Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofech Olim Umatir Asurim Kayeh Me'emunato Lishenei Afar Bichamocha Baal Gevurot Umedo Melech Melech Memid Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'nemanat Halachayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah Kadosh B'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kedoshim B'chol Yom Yahalalu Chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
Continue with silent prayer. You may do so with the words in our prayer books or the words in your own heart, and you may be seated when you're finished.
In a famous scene in the story of Fiddler on the Roof, Tevye, that's our bar mitzvah boy's Hebrew name, or Yiddish name, Tevye asks his wife, Goldie, my Hebrew name, or my Yiddish name, he asks her, do you love me? Do I what? Asks Goldie. Do you love me? Tevye repeats the question. She responds, for 25 years, I've washed your clothes, cooked your meals, cleaned your house, given you children, milked the cow. 25 years. If that's not love, what is? So often we express our love through commitment, through what we do for one another, through our faithfulness. Temple Beth Shalom has been blessed to have many, many, many longtime members. Tonight we celebrate those people, 301 of whom have been members for more than 25 years, 54 who have been with us for over 50 years, and 9 stalwart people who have been with us for 75 years or more. Kinahura and wow. You stuck with us when the roof was leaking, when the mortgage was life-threatening, when we made mistakes, even when we couldn't meet in person for the High Holy Days during the pandemic. If that's not love, what is? Tonight, we've asked a few of those special people, among many others, to share some memories of their thoughts on this special milestone anniversary. And so first, I'd like to invite up Maury Moss, who I saw somewhere over here. Maury has been a member since 1965. I feel like the American Express ad. Member since 1946. Okay, then our database is wrong, Maury. And he beautifies our bima every year on the High Holy Days with his beautiful flowers, for which we thank you and thank you again. Come, stand here.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Maury Moss. I've been a member of Temple Beth Shalom for about 76 years. And they gave me 3 minutes to tell you about my 76 years. So to save time, I would just like to say it's been a wonderful experience. Thank you very much, and good Shabbos. Just kidding, just kidding. I was born in Miami Beach in 1941 in St. Francis Hospital. My older brother was also born there in 1936. We joined the temple in 1946 just to get these dates out of the way. I started Hebrew school here when I was 9 years old in 1949 in the old temple, which is now where the school is. My older brother, Jerry, was bar mitzvahed here in 1949, and in 1954, when he was 18 years old, he became the junior national tennis champion of the United States, and the United States Davis Cup team took him to Australia, and he won the Australian Junior National Tennis Championships, and he became the top junior tennis player in the world, and then went on to the University of Miami. He was captain of the tennis team in 58, 59. He was All-American, and later he was inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame, University of Miami, with all the other great athletes. And I tell you that because I'd like to think Temple Beth Shalom had something to do with his tennis success. Maybe spiritually it helped his backhand, forehand, overhead. I'm not sure, but he was really very good. Where am I now? I was bar mitzvahed here in 1953 and confirmed here 2 years later. The day after my bar mitzvah, they broke ground for this sanctuary with the beautiful stained glass windows. And I have a funny story. In the old synagogue, it ran east and west to the water, and they had windows along the side that opened up and down. And when I went to Hebrew school there, I started in 49, we'd have Sunday school, and we'd have to go to a service after Sunday school, and we would get very bored, some of us, and we'd go to the back of the temple, open a window, jump out, and go to Polo Park. Now, I tell that story because they built this chapel with these beautiful stained glass windows that don't open, so kids can't do that anymore. My rabbi was Leon Kronish, I'm sure most of you know, and our cantor was Cantor Kellermer, two very special people. When Rabbi Kronish blessed us at the end of every service, he would stand in the middle of the bima, over there or in the old sanctuary, and he would raise his hands over his head like this, and he would close his eyes, and he would say, let me see what he said. Ki lakash tov natati la chem torati al ta azovu. Behold, a good doctrine has been given to you, forsake it not. And when I was a young kid, I swear I thought he was God. He would stand up here sometimes with his white robes and his big white Torah, and to me he looked like Moses with the Ten Commandments. He was a powerful looking man, and he was a little intimidating, but he made me feel very secure because God was in our sanctuary. After Rabbi Kronish retired in 1985, we were super lucky to have to hire a guy named Gary Glickstein as our new rabbi. What an amazing job he did. He totally turned around the temple with his youth and enthusiasm and helped make the temple financially secure. He canceled the debt, he balanced the budget, and he made many necessary repairs. I had no idea he was so wealthy. He helped grow the congregation into what it is today. His sermons are so memorable, and we still love hearing him speak, and are so glad he is still here as our Rabbi Emeritus. He had a number of cantors with him, but the oldest one I always remember is Stephen Haas. I still sometimes hear his powerful voice in my sleep. He sang an amazing Ovina Malkano, really beautiful. I want to share a story with you. In 1990, there was a mega mission for Israel that was in South Florida, and I was fortunate to go on a mission with our temple bus with Rabbi Glickstein and Stephen Haas. And I got to tell you, it was an amazing experience. From 6 a.m. to midnight, we were rocking and rolling. Stayed in the kibbutz, Masada, the Dead Sea, and beautiful banquets in Hotel King David, I believe it was, with the beautiful Israeli music. It was really something special. And I'm telling you this because if you have an opportunity to go to Israel with a temple, do it if you haven't been, because it's really a lot of fun. My wife and I were in Israel 2019 on a cruise, toured a couple days. We went through Israel a little bit, but it's not the same. If you have an opportunity to go with a temple, do it. It's really a great experience. But I got to tell you, when I got home, I was so exhausted I had to take a vacation. Anyway, Rabbi Bob Davis, has been a mainstay of our clergy since he came here in 1995. He is such a wonderful person and is loved by all of us. He does a wonderful job for Temple Beth Shalom. He has been so important to many of us as he's conducted services for many of our loved ones that have passed away. Actually, all of our clergy are really wonderful, and also our administrative and our maintenance staff. You know, it's really a good organization, and we're really lucky. In 2018, with no one's permission, Rabbi Glickstein retired, and I was very sad, but he was succeeded by the most wonderful Rabbi Gail Pomerantz, who has been with the temple since 1994. She is only the third senior rabbi at Temple Beth Shalom and the first female rabbi. I think it's really amazing that the temple has only had 3 senior rabbis in 80 years. I think I'm correct. Excuse me, I gotta turn the page. Oh. I mean, where else will you see something like this? Rabbi Pomerantz is so active for so many causes, it is amazing she has the time for all she does. Needless to say, she's a very special woman with a strong passion for what she does. She touches our lives every time she speaks. This year's high holiday services were some of the most enjoyable services I have ever experienced. The sermons and music were just wonderful, and I'm sure most of you will agree. What a wonderful thing happened in 2011. Cantor Lisa Siegel joined our clergy. We now have an angel from heaven who sings for us during every service. She makes every service more and more special. How did we get so lucky? I am always amazed to hear her beautiful voice. Hebrew music is beautiful, and she makes it more beautiful. She has amazing participation here with a great pianist and a choir, and I think we are really blessed. Temple Beth Shalom has been a special part of my life because I've been coming here for most of my life. I was bar mitzvahed here and confirmed here. My kids were bar mitzvahed here, and I was married here twice. You know, for your second wedding here, they give you a 50% discount, which is a good deal because after your first marriage, you're usually broke. All of my family members who have passed away over the years have had memorial services here. I've only been away from the temple when I was at the University of Florida for a year and a half, and in 1958 and 1959, when I was in active service in the Army for 6 months. So I've only missed 2 years in the last 76 years, and that's a pretty good attendance. Years ago, the temple had limited funds and couldn't afford to have nice floral arrangements for the high holiday service. I have been in the wholesale flower business for 57 years. I realized a long time ago that I should help the temple and decided that we would make lovely floral arrangements for the holidays to help enhance the beauty of our services. This has been an honor and a privilege for me, and I'm quite proud of the fact that I've been able to do it. It has really been my pleasure. I got to share a similarity with you that I kind of realized a time back. We ship in flowers from all over the world. They come into Miami. They're made into beautiful arrangements. We bring them into the temple to beautify our sanctuary. Our congregants come from many different places, and we all come together to Temple Beth Shalom, and we make for a beautiful congregation. And I see a similarity between the flowers and our congregation. And maybe it's just me because I'm such a romantic guy. For many of us, Temple Beth Shalom has been our home away from home. When I was younger, I couldn't wait for a service to end. Now I can't wait for a service to start. Lastly, I would like to say, to fulfill your spiritual appetite, Temple Beth Shalom is the place to be. Behold the good doctor. No. Thank you very much. And I love you guys.
Well, we hit the jackpot there. Thank you, Maury. That was fabulous. We're going to take a moment to play a video of one of our favorite renditions of L'Ador Vador, From Generation to Generation, sung by our next generation, Noah Meltzer.
L'Ador Vador, Nagid Godleha, L'Ador Vador, Nagid Godleha, U'netzach, Netzachim, Kedushata Nagdish, L'Ador Vador, Nagid Godleha, L'Ador Vador, Nagid Godleha, U'netzach, Netzachim, Kedushata Nagdish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu, Mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed, V'shivchacha Eloheinu, Mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed, L'Ador Vador, Nagid Godleha, L'Ador Vador, Nagid Godleha, U'netzach, Netzachim, Kedushata Nagdish, Ki el Melech Gadol, Ve'kadosh Ata, vador nagid godleha ledor vador nagid godleha Baruch atah Adonai HaMelech
Noah has been singing that on our bima since before his bar mitzvah. And as he makes it big on Broadway, as I know he will, we can all say we knew him when. Our next guests to speak are Dr. Stephen Unger and Rachel Unger. And I'm going to call them up. And as they come up, I want to say we also had the blessing of knowing Stephen's parents. And so, are they here? Oh, here they are, yeah. And Rachel is now the next generation. She is our Social Justice Network leader, as well as the teacher of our 5th grade. And her children are following in her righteous footsteps. So thank you all.
So this is not the order of the way it's going to go. My dad was supposed to speak first, but I just have to say that I agreed to speak tonight, but not after Maury Moss and Noah Meltzer. I almost have no words, but I'll share some.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, you know, you're my dad. Go ahead.
I'm going to go off script a little also. We did High Holidays virtually, and Maury, thank you very much. Beverly at home looked at the bima and found the flowers to be absolutely breathtaking this year. You really outdid yourself this year, so thank you. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Steve Unger. This is my daughter, Rachel. We're truly honored to be able to speak here to this group as representatives of a multi-generational family. We have a long history going back to my sister Nancy, who joined confirmation class and made my parents become members, and my sister-in-law Lane, who was confirmed here also. Lane and Artie had the honor of Rabbi Kronish co-officiating at their wedding. Lane and I served on the board, and it was during really intense times when Rabbi Kronish was ill, when the temple had a burn the mortgage crisis, and also the more joyous selection of our new chief rabbi, which was Rabbi Gary Glickstein. For our immediate family, the story began 41 years ago. Beverly and I stood in the living room of our Charlottesville, Virginia house as we were finishing surgical residency. And Beverly said, "Should we have this fight now, or do you want to wait till we move to Miami Beach?" We had always had a temple connection, even in our Deep South forays, going to synagogues that, in order to assimilate, looked more like churches in the downtown neighborhoods. The fight was whether we should join the temple that I grew up in, or whether we should join the more modern Temple Beth Shalom. I made the wrong choice, but within a month and a half, our kids, Joshua, Aaron, and Rachel, came home and said, "We need to change." We wanted to go to a place that specifically was a temple that was geared towards families and celebrating children. Once we joined, we realized at Temple Beth Shalom, it was okay for babies to cry, choruses of toddlers to sing, and teenagers to be celebrated for their experiences. I want Rachel to speak now, to take you from the past and into the future.
I'm thrilled to be up here as a representation of the double generation that spans 4 generations of membership. My family and I grew up here at Temple Beth Shalom. This is truly a remarkable place. My memories roll back to when we stood in the courtyard, although it looked quite different, and Sunday school, Maury, became Saturday school. I have joyous memories of running through Silverman Hall to get to Mr. Jensen's drama class. I also remember learning the fundamentals of Hebrew with Mora Shula and Mora Malka. I even learned to say my favorite Hebrew word, parparim, which means butterflies. I cannot tell you thoroughly enough how much Temple Beth Shalom has contributed to forming who I am today. Through my confirmation class with Rabbi Glickstein, or the trips to Israel, most notably the nifty trip with Louis Boardman, not only was Temple a fantastic place for my spirit to be enlightened and engaged, but I also taught and babysat for many VIP members. Highlights were Rabbi Davis's and Rabbi Pomerantz's kids. As an adult, I came back to Temple because there was no other place that felt quite like home. Rabbi Pomerantz officiated Mike and my wedding, and all of the rabbis were there to name our beautiful children Max and Ellie. The Temple is interwoven as a bright spot in my life. I am thankful for the school that educated my children when they were young. I am thankful for the inclusivity that I feel each time I enter this space. And as many of you may know, I am so proud of how Temple Beth Shalom is now the leading congregation in social justice advocacy. I am thankful that Max and Ellie became B'nai Mitzvah on the very bima that my brother's cousins, aunt, grandmother, my mom, and I were B'nai Mitzvah on as well. That is a true Lador Vador moment. Now, in 2022, I've made my way back to Temple Beth Shalom in a new capacity. I am a teacher at the Innovative School of Temple Beth Shalom. It is an intentional choice to be here and to continue to be a member who is seen and is present. How blessed are we that we have the honor to advocate for social justice causes that are aligned with our morals and values as Jews. How blessed are we to have Rabbi Pomerantz leading us in multifaceted connectivity to Judaism. I see Rabbi Pomerantz as a true mentor whose leadership has changed the trajectory of my adult life. Thank you, Rabbi Pomerantz, for all that you give of yourself to make Temple Beth Shalom amazing. Look around. Each one of you is uniquely positioned here to be an active participant in a progressive Jewish temple that genuinely cares about you and your family. We, the Ungers and the Feldmans, are so fortunate to be a part of this temple for the past 4 decades, and we're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Each of our family events, happy, celebratory, life cycle, and even the saddest of occasions, have occurred with full family participation and the support of the ever-evolving and wonderful temple clergy and staff. We have all, at some time or another, been involved in temple leadership, fundraising, and philanthropy. Currently, having the chance to watch our grandchildren thrive here and learn Jewish values is priceless. Temple Beth Shalom creates an environment where the support of Israel, celebration of multi-generational education, and nurturing of art in our community is the standard. In addition to these core values, the emphasis on social equity, justice work, and inclusivity makes us proud to be part of this wonderful institution that we are lucky to call our temple. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Nagid God Leha. Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Nagid God Leha.
Ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid God lecha. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid God lecha. Yeshivcha
Kadosh
not only sang L'Ador Vador so beautifully, they exemplified it by being 2 mothers and 2 daughters. And Neely, that was awesome. Thank you. Our third and final speaker is Aaron Herschel, who grew up here at Temple Beth Shalom and who co-chaired this event with his wife Alyssa and his parents, Andy and Debbie Herschel. And the next generation, Milo, who I was privileged to name a couple years ago now, is not here, but will be a future leader, I know as well.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Aaron Herschel, and along with my wife Alyssa, my parents Andy and Debbie, we're privileged to co-chair this amazing Generation Shabbat, particularly thanks to my mom. That's the code underneath all of us hosting. I'm one of the younger generation of members born in this congregation, and for me, it's easy and natural to perpetuate a lifelong alliance to Temple Beth Shalom. It's clergy and the staff and the community of friends that I've made here over the years. It's been more than just a place to worship or study religion. It's been a community I've grown up in, my sister's grown up in, really together with all of you. A place where I feel I belong and that I've always been proud to call my synagogue. A place that welcomed my wife as if she grew up here as well. In my childhood years, we carpooled on Saturday mornings for religious school where Mark Baranek would greet us in the driveway, welcoming as he still does today. Played basketball on Coach Baranek's team, got a jersey somewhere. It's probably worth a lot of money now. And then there was Hebrew school with the intimidating but brilliant Shula, always in her layer with some hot tea and sugar cubes. Quite a lady, quite a memory. How many people in this room experienced her, though, and had her enthusiasm and their bar mitzvah day? The best. I thought it was just me, but she makes everyone feel that their day was the most special ever, and she did that for every week for generations. It's wild. What a gift to this community. Rabbi Davis personally mentored me during my bar mitzvah, and as a young teen, I made a personal connection with him that's tethered me to the temple to this day. And since my dad was typecast as Haman for 15 years, he dragged me along a couple embarrassing performances where I sang and danced as one of his henchmen. Still do the grease dance at home every year together. Even that low moment in my life leaves me feeling connected to this special place. I love mitzvah days. We were the group who spilled a can of paint at the Holocaust Memorial, but we cleaned it up and we had more successful days. Still love them to this day. Confirmation, high holidays, other important moments in my life have connected me to Temple. Married my beautiful wife Alyssa under the huppah with Rabbi Glickstein nearly 5 years ago. And Rabbi Pomerantz joined our family's Zoom bris for Milo about 18 months ago as well. As a parent, I look forward to our family creating new memories together. We love going to Tat Shabbat with our son Milo and singing in the courtyard where my bar mitzvah brick sits. I love the fact that 3 generations now of Herschels are here. One day maybe my sister will come back and we'll all be here. Looking to the future, I hope to always be proud to identify this as my synagogue with an active and engaged congregation full of members in our community. I'm lucky to have great role models in my parents for their temple leadership and engagement and can only hope to live up to their legacy. I want to see the people in my generation remain members, grow our families here, together develop our Jewish hearts and minds just like we did as kids. Alyssa and I want to nurture the temple as it nurtured me, and I want to continue to come to temple and make it a part of our lives, our children's lives, as much as it was for us. I want to get up here decades from now, like Maury Moss, what a legend. Hopefully I can do that in 40 years, and many of our other great members who have been here for a long time. So Shabbat Shalom, good to see you all.
We continue now on page 253 with the Misha Beirach. And the first two words, Misha Beirach, we just say those words, but they say, the words mean, may the one who blessed. The one who blessed. The Torah portion for this week in Breshit is where God first blessed us. The one who blessed us at the beginning, all humanity. God blessed us and gave us the obligation to bless each other and to reach out to each other. And this congregation has been doing that for 80 years, from the moment we started reaching out to the young soldiers who came here to prepare for war in Europe, to this very moment, this year when when people from Ukraine came and they were welcomed by members of this congregation, and everything in between. We bless each other by everything we do. The Misha Beirach is a way of remembering those who are in need of prayer. But it isn't just illness. It can be spiritual, it can be support, it can be in loneliness. And so at this moment, I would ask you, as we are about to sing these words on page 253, to say out loud the names of people you hold, including your own, that you want to share and bless at this moment. If you would do that, we'll hear this whole congregation speak the names of blessing as God first blessed us. Please, just speak them out loud.
Samantha Kleiman, Howard Crystal.
Page 253, Misha Beirach.
Misha Beirach Avotenu Nekor Abraham Le'avotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Beirach Imotenu Nekor Abraham Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
What would a generation's Shabbat service be without the newest generation? And so it's my pleasure to call up Lucia and David with their daughter, Juliet, to come to the bima so that she can be named here in front of this big, beautiful congregation. And this is, as Rabbi Glickstein said, Parashat Breshit. We are back to the beginning of the Torah, to the story of creation. And with the blessing of this baby, we thank God for the regenerative powers we have to continue to grow and to welcome new generations. And she is gorgeous. So it is my pleasure to bless her. And our tradition says that every child, beautiful. Every child brings her own blessing into the world. And I know that she will bring you much blessing. Eloheinu velohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our fathers and mothers, velohei bnotenu, and God of our children, kayem et hayada hazot la'aviha ulehima, sustain this beautiful child through her parents' loving care, v'yikara shema b'Yisrael, and let her name be known in Israel as Shlomit Chaya. You like it, right? and in English, Juliet Haley. So I'm just going to say a word about those names, and then I'm going to invite her parents to share who she's named for. Yes, so her name in Hebrew, Shlomit, comes from David's grandmother, Winifred. And of course, we don't have a Winifred in Hebrew, but it means friend of peace. And so they chose the name Shlomit, which really personifies peace. And you can tell that she is a peaceful person. And her middle name, Chaya, comes from David's father, Howard, whose Hebrew name was Chaim. And that means life, of course. So she is this new source of life and love for this family. So I'm going to invite you to share some words.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you, Rabbi. What an incredible service to have our baby naming at. She's being welcomed here and named in a service where we just learned the history of this amazing synagogue, and we're very excited to have her grow up here and have her own story in the future. So we're very excited. We both already see our dads in Juliet. She has such a personality, and I see my grandma also in her. So we're just so happy, and thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi. And I just want to say her English name, we use the first initials after our dad's. And for my dad, I see that he was very industrious and very charming, and she is as well. There you go, you see? Very industrious, good with her hands. So I'm just very proud, but I just want to say my dad did not get to meet David, and his wish for me was that I found a great man who loved me and protected me. So we're happy to honor our fathers because it's what brought us together, and we know that they're together with us. So, oops. Amen.
And now we have the next rabbi here. No, we're not done. I'm not done blessing this child, no. So we're going to say, Yismach ha'ab b'yotzech halatzav v'tagel ima b'fri vitna. May her beautiful names be a source of joy to her and to her family, and may she honor with her life all those who you have blessed her with. And now we say, Zot hakatana gedola tihiyeh, which means this little precious one, may she one day be gedola, may she be big, may you be strong, may you have purpose and soul. And we're just not talking about body, we're talking about mind and soul, and maybe even the rabbinate. And now we're going to all get to bless her, because I know you want to, by repeating these words after me. Keshem, Shenik Nasa, Labrit, Kain, Tikanes, La Torah, La Chuppah, Uma'asim Tovim. So what we've just prayed for is that just as today she enters into the covenant with God and the Jewish people, so may she enter into a life of Torah, a life of study. May you be running through the halls of Temple Beth Shalom and feel as at home here as Maury Moss did, but may you not sneak out. And then we're going to pray that one day she should find the blessing of love and companionship and stand under the chuppah just as the two of you have found with each other. And finally, we pray that her hands be filled with ma'asim tovim, with acts of loving kindness. And I know with parents like you, with your commitment to community and to bettering our world, that you, little Juliet, are a very lucky girl and will grow up to follow in your parents' footsteps. And now I'm going to ask my colleagues to all gather around so you can get a really big blessing for all of us together.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you, Shlomi Chaya.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'kuneka.
May the light of God's face shine on you and shine through you. It already is, and may God always be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
K'niratzon. May God's presence always be with you and your parents and give them strength as they rear you. And may God bless you with a lifetime of joy, of love, of beauty, and of shalom, little Shlomit. May you be among those who bring peace to our world. Amen. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Anyway, we're going to ask you to stay up here because this is our moment of Shehechianu where we all get to say thank you, God, for enabling us to arrive at this moment. We're saying it as a community, of course, that we've arrived at our 80th anniversary. So what we're going to do is ask if anybody in this congregation has been a member of Temple Beth Shalom for 75 years or more to please rise if you're able. Beautiful. And now, no, stay standing if you can, stay standing. We're going to ask those of you who have been members for 50 years or more to please rise and remain standing. If you have belonged to Temple Beth Shalom for 25 years or longer, please rise and remain standing. If you've been with us for 10 years or longer, please rise and remain standing. If you are new to our community, please rise and remain standing. Let's all, and if you wish you belong to our community, please rise and remain standing. We're going to take a moment, each of us, to thank God for something in our lives as we say together the Shehechianu. You can put your arms around each other if you want, and truly thank God from your hearts.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lasman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lasman hazeh.
Mazel tov. We're going to invite you to remain standing as we turn to page 282 for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'ateit gedula liotzer bereshit shelo asanu kegoyeh ha'aratzot velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gorolenu kechol hamonam va'anachnu korim u'mishtavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom ha'hu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. We take a moment now to remember all those who came before us, those who may have died in years past at this season, and those who may have died in recent days. As a congregation, we remember the more than 6 million Jews who were murdered in the Shoah and the Holocaust. Remember those who died in the struggle to reestablish the modern state of Israel, who died since that time, making sure that our homeland exists for us and for Jews everywhere. Remember all those who perished in the name of liberty, freedom, justice, and righteousness. And we remember the innocent victims of hatred, ignorance, terrorism, disease, violence, gun violence, and natural disasters. On this Shabbat, we remember friends and family whose yortzites are being observed and whose names have lovingly been inscribed on plaques which are in our alcove of remembrance. We remember generations. We remember Belle Amder, Joshua Isaac Glickstein, Jack Golem, Rosalind G. Hausman, Hilda Litvin, Donald Locke, Max Madorsky, Albert Nanis, Sidney Nanis, Milton Nussbaum, Rebecca Pollock, Samuel J. Rabin, Irving Radin, Henry Rosenblum, Norman J. Russ, Martin Solomon, Toby Solomon, Richard Singerman, Linda Snitzer, Ruth Jenny Teitelbaum, and Eugene J. Weiss. We remember as well friends and family whose yortzites are being observed at this time. Remember Alan Band, Naomi Gale Bernstein, Joyce Burdoff, Terry Bishop, Florence Ullman Breslov, Earl J. Broidy, Barbara Bela Cohen, Max Dower, Gabrielle Dreyfus, Bertha Dreyfus, Robert K. Frank, Jess Gelb, A. Lewis Gordon, Mela Cooperschmidt, Magda Leuchter, Theodore Harris Livingston, Jonas Michon, Helen Nash, Marlene Orticelli, Marjorie Price, Martha Green Rosen, Sam Schwartz, Morris Serban, Henry Stadler, Hy Sternfeld, Samuel Steilerman, Ida Ziff Tapper, Myra Wexler. And we remember friends and family who've died in recent days, and their families remain in the shloshim of mourning, the 30-day period of mourning. Remember Oscar Bromberg Schlesinger, Michael Aller, Carl Soloway, Ron Pine, Iris Oliva, Jerry Robbins, Murray Dubin, Ronald Newark, Robert Toll, Nini Post, David Kennan, and Barbara Bobby Miller. And on this Shabbat, we remember as well all those who sat with us and who were near to us in this beautiful sanctuary, our home, our safe place. We hear their voices in our hearts, and we feel their presence whenever we are in this space. We take a few quiet moments to remember, each in our own way. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may the memory of all the righteous in our lives and in the world be a blessing. And I'll ask you to please rise as one congregation and recite words of Kaddish together, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, b'alma divrach hirutei, b'amlich malchutei, b'chaye chon v'yom echon, Uvchaye duchol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Vizman Karib Yimmeru Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabba Mivarak Le'olam Olamei Amaya. Yitbarak V'yishtabak V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Kudusha B'rechu. Le'elah Min Kol Birchata V'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran b'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom b'mroma hu ya'asei shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace grant peace to all of you who mourn, comfort all who are bereaved, and send healing to all who are saddened, as together we say, Amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure now to invite up Debbie Herschel, a member of our board and one of the co-chairs of this evening's program and service and dinner, and welcome, Debbie.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Temple Beth Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. It's
as Rabbi said, I'm Debbie Herschel, and I represent the trustees, and I'm happy to welcome you here tonight on this special night. I'm doing double duty because I'm also chairing, I hopefully got you here or helped get you here with an unbelievable committee that's sitting amongst you as well. Mazel tov to Juliet Geller and her naming ceremony, and to Teddy Wagner, there you are, and his family on your bar mitzvah weekend. We wish you a meaningful and memorable service tomorrow and a joyous celebration. You make this temple and community very proud. Thank you for sharing the service with us tonight. And as a result, you can be an honorary member of Generations, because hopefully you'll stay here long enough to be included in one of these. And we hope that the passion for Judaism in this special synagogue expressed here tonight provides inspiration and love of community, the community who sees you as a treasure and a path to the future of our Jewish beliefs and our synagogue. They asked me to highlight just a few things here at the temple, but most everything you will find on the website. Tomorrow is Torah study at 9:30, 10:30 Shabbat services you can watch on Zoom, Facebook, or YouTube. On Sunday, Richard Sharpstein annual memorial schmooze via Zoom. And there's mindful hearing on Tuesday, Feminism and Judaism with Rabbi Leuven. Please RSVP on Wednesday. Rabbi Glickstein is hosting a Zoom at 7 p.m. The Murdered, the Martyred, and the Misunderstood. And I don't know if I fall in any of those categories, but yeah. And on next Shabbat, you have Pet Shabark, formerly Pet Shabbat. Treats available. I want to thank the clergy, the musicians, and the singers, and all that they have done to enrich this Shabbat. They prepare each week with earnest, but tonight feels especially holy because you're here. Thank you also to the Gary Glickstein Foundation and its chair Jack Carson for helping with the dinner, and for Katie Boyask and the administration staff and crew here at the temple for their support and diligent work to get. We could not have done any of this without you. As I said, we appreciate the work of the fabulous host committee, with a special shout out to those of you who are here, who helped with the invites, who made phone calls, centerpieces, as well as our speakers tonight. The list is long, and even though I'm not recognizing people by name, know how much we value you in this community. None of the Hamishness of the temple would be possible without all of you. Many of you were here from the beginning. You set the tone for our synagogue and passed on the tradition from generation to generation, allowing our congregation to grow and adapt and create a beautiful metaphoric tapestry for this extraordinary place that is accepting and welcoming and engaging. We are a congregational family. We celebrate with one another and for one another. We console each other, and we connect as we pray, as we sing, as we learn. I'm a little clamped, sorry. As we do good deeds, and as we lead and as we follow. We work together to build a better, safer world and a strong community. We respect differences and we grow from experiences. As Generations members, we laid a strong foundation with a gravitational pull toward the sacred dome and an inner umbilical cord to our beliefs and values. Thank you for sharing and spending these many decades together here at TBS. Thank you for celebrating tonight, and we honor you for this dedication. If you are new to Temple Beth Shalom and were touched by the service and would like to learn more about our community, please see any of our board members, our clergy, and please join the Oneg reception immediately following the service. We are going to ask that at the conclusion of the service, all Generations guests exit through that door right there. It's directly to the Palm Plaza. And you can go to the double lines that are right out there and gather your dinner and spend the evening with us. Thank you again for being here, and Shabbat Shalom.
For anyone joining us for dinner this evening, and for anyone joining us for the oneg, and for anyone eating dinner this evening, we will say and pray Hamotzi together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
We conclude our service with an oldie but a goodie, Ein Keloheinu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Page 322.
Please rise.
An oldie with a contemporary twist. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoshenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kadmoshienu. B'ich Eloheinu, B'ich Adonenu, B'ich Emalkeinu, B'ich Hamoshienu. Who's like our God? Who's like our God? Who's like our God? Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu. Thanks, we give thanks. Thanks, we give thanks to our God. Thanks, we give thanks to our God. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Bless is our God. Bless is our God. Bless is our God. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. You are our God. You are God. You
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.